just, I know you haven't been here long, so I'm curious kind of how that process went and your history with Coach Satt before coming here now.
Yeah, definitely a whirlwind. Life comes at you fast in this business. I think it was, I don't know, 2 Sundays ago. I'm actually sitting on the couch Sunday night watching TV. Me and my wife are actually watching something on Netflix, Full Swing. If ever golfers out here and seeing that's awesome. We were actually watching that, and Mark Spear, who I've known, I don't know, since I was 19 or 20 years old. We've actually coached together at 5 different spots. He gave me a call just to see if I was interested, and kind of surprised me. At first he said Tom left, and are you interested at all? Kind of surprised me at first, and I said, of course, yeah, I'm interested. And he said, no, are you serious? And I said, well, give me a minute, and I've got 3 kids and my wife, and kind of ran it by them a little bit, and I told him, yeah. And Scott called me a little while after, and that got the ball rolling. And I kind of sat on it for a day, working at Virginia Tech. And, got up the next morning, just felt like it was the right thing to do, and got with Coach Satterfield and told him I was definitely in.
Did he tell you you'd fit the mold of needing a name tag in the wide receiver room with as many new guys
exactly.
that are coming in?
There's been a lot of guys rolling through, and again, you got to find the right fit, and it's something that's definitely, we're going to work on, see if we can get it done here pretty quick.
Does it seem perfect for you coaching the receivers? You don't know a whole bunch about them, and neither does anyone else for that matter.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I've lost count, 30 plus years of coaching, or right around 30 years. And, I started coaching receivers. I probably got 10 to 12 seasons of coaching the wideouts under my belt. That's kind of where I first began in this business. But it's been a while. The last 14, I've coached quarterbacks. But it's exciting, to go back, and think about those guys, and in the passing game, and being a quarterback coach, you always kind of work directly with them. So it never really leaves you, when you're coaching a quarterback. So it'll be a quick transition.
Safe to say you'll have some input on the quarterback battle also.
I would think, Pete and myself, and Coach Satt, and then Josh Stepp, who's coaching the tight ends. We're all kind of quarterback guys, so I think we'll all put our heads together and figure out, because you got to have a quarterback. That's where it all begins. No matter what level of ball you play at, when you got a quarterback, you got a chance. So you got to get that position right.
The Sat's a little unique in terms of him calling plays, but
Yeah.
he's talked about it being a really collaborative process. You've worked with him before. What do
Yeah.
you think your role will be in terms of game planning, play calling?
Going back to our time, I think we were together like 5 or 6 years at App, and we just see the game so similar. Believe in the same things on how to move the football and score points, and how to practice, and how to install, and how much you install. And we work together really close. We kind of got this style of offense off the ground, at App back in, I think my first year there was 2005. And we were kind of in the early phases of going from more traditional I formation offense at App to going to the tempo spread type stuff. So we kind of got it off the ground there and put it together. Throughout the years, we've kept in touch and, talked certain things, certain trends in offense. And I think it'll be pretty good, situation, just the way we see the game the same way.
Did you know much about Cincinnati, the school, the program?
I didn't know a whole lot, but one of the things that kind of, drew me to the place was just all the success Cincinnati's had in the past. The tradition, the history here, the bowl wins, the championships. I've kind of always just seen it from afar and been impressed by the program. And then, being able to go into a new conference, the Big 12, and kind of be on the ground floor of that transition kind of intrigued me. That was interesting. And, just if you can kind of replicate the success that's already been had here over the past, I don't know, 15 or 20 years at that level. I mean, that's all you can ask for. So excited about the possibilities.
You mentioned Sat and Spear. I think you worked with Coach Sims at Western, too,
Yeah.
right? So how natural does that make?
Yeah,
coming in here?
very natural, and just the connections from Coach Spear and Coach Satterfield and Josh Stepp. We were 3 years together at Georgia State. Darrell Sims, we were together at Western Carolina, I think, for 3 years. And then Nick Cardwell, our O-line coach. I actually coached him for 1 year when he was at App. So that's another thing that kind of drew me here, was just the instant connection and chemistry that we would have in that offensive staff room. So it makes for a seamless transition.
What's the Georgia State? You guys all, not only Appalachian State, but it seems like everybody's
Yeah.
touched down at Georgia State as well.
Well, Sean Elliott,
Yeah.
who was the head coach there, we were Sat, Coach Spear, myself, and Sean were all together for those 3 national championships at App, and then the upset at Michigan. We were all together, and so Sean left, went to South Carolina for several years as an OL coach, and then he gets the Georgia State job, and that's the connection there.
Kind of out of left field, but has anything surpassed that day in Ann Arbor?
That was a special day.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest upset in college football history. And we were a good program, but we were still, FCS school at that time. We were coming off 2 consecutive national championships and had a lot of those guys back and knew we had a solid team, but Michigan's ranked 5th in the country, and we go in there to the big house and pull that off. And it was a special day. I don't know if I'll ever have that feeling again, just the excitement of what we accomplished there with that group.
Do you still remember when the kick was blocked, or did you black out?
No, I was actually sitting next to Scott up in the press box, and I think he grabbed me, as a matter of fact, kind of shook me like, can you believe it? But you do have a little bit of a blackout moment there, with as much as excitement was going on at the time.
So you would have, been at App when you guys started running inside zone, and
Yeah.
I think probably when Dwayne was there going outside stuff, right?
I was not there when Coach Ledford was. I had gone by then, but the inside zone was a big play for us at that time. It's kind of always been a play that I've kind of hung my hat on at the different stops that I've had. And then Dwayne being there and Coach Satterfield, when he was the head coach at App, they kind of got to the outside zone off the ground, and it has been a phenomenal play, for them since that time, and that'll be a staple of our offense for sure.
So I was mentioning, since you guys have been apart, he's added some things. Obviously, you have too. What are some of those, maybe outside of the outside zone, that he does a little differently than the last time you were with him, and maybe you've added to?
I think, even though we ran tempo back in those days, I think I've kind of upped that up a little bit, been a little bigger part of my game. I think if you look back over the years, at Western Carolina and then at App, Western Carolina, Georgia State, tempo was a huge part of it. And then spacing, just using the entire field, some of the over splits by the receivers, maybe a little bit more RPO, branched out from that standpoint than what Scott's done in the past. But again, our beliefs at the end of the day are very similar. You got to run the football to win championships. He believes that. I believe that. You got to take care of the ball. You got to score touchdowns in the red zone. You can't kick field goals. You got to be very good in the red zone. Obviously the things that everybody says being good on third down, a lot of people put emphasis on third down as being the magical down. I think actually first down is where the magic takes place. You got to be efficient on first down, and that's something we'll talk about a lot. Being first down efficient, you want to gain 4 or more yards. Probably 50% of your first down calls, and then when you get to those third and shorts, it's easy to convert. So we'll preach that, but a lot of our beliefs, align with each other.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.